Smell that? It's time for a swing dance reaction video.
No, no, no.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Street Smart Swing. My name is Jamin Jackson, also known as the Galactic Swing Dance Umpire. And I am super elated to be scrutinizing another Lindy Hop video today. We are going to be taking a look at the clip from Malcolm X that featured a lot of swing dancing. Now, I must give you a caveat here. I haven't seen this in over 20-something years since I was a teenager in the 90s, and I've been dancing now for a long time. And so I'm super excited to see how my perspective has changed about the scene. And do not let your hearts be troubled. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth about how I feel about this scene right after this.
Hey.
All right. That was dramatic. I saw a swing out. That's good. Those hats. Come on now. Oh, it's great. She's moving like she's doing like New Jack Swing hip hop. Oh, that was Denzel Washington. Totally forgot. Wow. Lime green suits like the 90s. Oh, that's so funny. I guess this is kind of like going to be like Shorty George and his bigger partner. I forget her name. What's weird is they're actually playing the real song. I like that. That's great. Oh, that's weird. Some weird movements going on. Like real splits, not jazz splits, like splits like ballet splits. That's hilarious. What? Denzel Washington doing an aerial? What? Oh, I totally forgot about this. Hilarious. Oh, wow. I guess that looked kind of like Lionel Hampton, but I wasn't sure if that's the real Lionel Hampton. Swing out! They got that right. At least they came right back in with a hard swing out. That was great. Oh, that was great. I totally forgot how that scene happened as a kid. Like when you're a kid, like a teenager. See, I was a teenager in the 90s. I grew up in this time where it was like New Jack Swing. I wasn't like a teenager at 92. I was like maybe around 10 or 11. But it was a different time for me. I was still kind of looking up to teenagers, and I knew the music of my time. My music of the time was like MC Hammer, Belle DeVoe. You got all these New Jack Swing bands, and people kind of had this kind of groove in their movements. It was like up and down and like open mouth. You know, some of those people, they laugh at that move when you do that in weddings, but that was a real move. That was like a legit move, and I used to do it. I used to do that move. And looking at this footage, it's interesting to see how the New Jack Swing era even influenced the stylistic choices for some of the clothes and the movements. But what's also fascinating is to see that the original time for swing, like 1930s, 1940s, is kind of influencing New Jack Swing era in the 90s. Everyone's wearing like suits. This was kind of normal in the 90s. They would wear their hairs kind of parted. They would wear exaggerated suits that looked like the 1930s and 40s. So it's interesting to see old and new kind of clashing in a different way, which is really weird. This is a very 90s rendition of what they thought the 30s looked like. So it looks a bit campy. I gotta admit it. It looks a bit kind of dumb in certain scenes, but even the original stuff kind of looked dumb. Like from our perspective, when you look at it, you know, it looks kind of, if someone that didn't look like me was doing it, people would be like, "Oh, you're racist. You can't act like that." You know what I mean? It just kind of looks weird and like over the top. Oh, it's funny. That's funny. I will tell you, it's hard to identify who's really dancing in this clip. I can't tell. I heard there was like some famous swing dancers that were in this clip. I don't know if I can see them in this clip, but either way, it's what I do like about it is I like the tone of it. The color of it kind of takes me back into that setting as if I was there, because the Savoy Ballroom wasn't black and white. Yes, we think that in our mind from the footage, but there were real people. They had real relationships. There were people who liked each other, and someone went with someone else to the dance. You had all of those dynamics, and I like how this color palette that they have isn't glaring, even though some of those shiny suits, those MC Hammer looking suits are glaring. I kind of feel like I'm still being taken back into that time period in a respectful way. I will say the bagginess of the clothes was kind of the same. Some of the guys wore suits that were a little too big, maybe because they couldn't afford a tailored suit. I don't know. But even in the 90s, people were kind of doing that too, which I think that's really interesting. I think it's really interesting. The sad part is that I can tell most of these people in this footage don't really know how to swing dance. Yet, for most of these people, it's part of their heritage. Think about that. If you're an Indian person and you have your native dance in India, and just, 80 years after that native dance has come out, most of the people don't know about it. That would be really strange. But I think that's just, I think it's a very American concept. I think it is a very American problem. I would also say maybe in Australia, well, for countries that are really young, we tend to kind of forget a lot of things that got us there to where we're at that time. And that's unfortunate, because I look at this and I'm thinking they should have been able to hire real swing dancers. But wait, where are they? Where are all the swing dancers? Well, they were doing all of this stuff. You know what I mean? That's the dance changed. And that's okay for dancing to change, but to think that your very country, like the people who made the dance, you don't really remember it, I think that's just a little strange. I think it is a systemic problem with places or people or groups who are motivated by creativity and ingenuity. If you have a lot of that all the time, you tend to kind of rebel against craftsmanship, or things that kind of repeat, things that make you remember where you come from so that you can pass it on to the next generations. Now, Europeans, obviously, you guys have older countries, so you guys have heritage, you guys have different people who contributed to the arts, and you all hang and cling to that because it shows your distinction and how your people contributed to the world. But since Americans are so young, I find that fascinating that even within 100 years, the people don't remember, nor do a lot of them really just go out of the way to learn about that. in a very respectful way. You know, there are people that go back and learn about the history and it's very revisionist, so they use it for political exploitation to be like, this group of people's against us. You know, you have that. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people like me who were genuinely curious about swing dancing once they saw it as a legit art form. I only got in really because I saw people who didn't look like me doing it in such a perfect way that made me jealous. I was jealous to come and do it. It's our thing, but I had no idea how to do it. So for me, it was like, I'm not going to let this geeky little guy in this jam circle do that. There's no way. You know, I was a hip hopper and break dancer and doing all my stuff, but I couldn't Lindy hop. I couldn't fathom that as an American who's basically a person of the now. We are people of the now. That's what we do. We think about what's now, what's future, but we are not people of the past in craftsmanship. So Lindy Hop has taught me to value the past, value the things that have come before. Remember why people put locks on doors. Locks are not for your enemies. Your enemies break into the house, right? Locks are for your friends, right? You got to remember that. Fences are put there for a reason, and it's to protect, not just to exclude. And so to remember this art form with the right perspective, I think is incredibly important. And it's sad. That's the pancake sandwich, or not the pancake sandwich, the compliment sandwich. That would be gross. A compliment pancake sandwich. I don't know. Maybe for breakfast. I don't know. But for me, that's the negative part I see about this, is because it's kind of disconcerting to see like none of these people really know how to dance, and yet it's their dance. So anyway, what do you guys think about this clip? I thought it was funny. It's kind of campy, but it kind of took me into the mood. And it's about time there's another movie that comes out like this. I would love to be a part of something like this. I think it's time. This is 2020. People need to know more about swing dancing. We have the technology. We have the people, but I don't think we have the focus. I don't think there's a real focus to just not know the history, but respect the history. People can actually say, yes, that's what it is. How do I be a part of that? Point people to it and let people cut them loose and let them go. I think now it's a little bit of, we're kind of in a weird phase where people who say they like it really act like they don't really like it. They use it for like political stuff. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. That's kind of exploitative. And if they're not doing that, they've set a tone where people think that you can do that to other people's art forms. So if you want to use it as something to be a part of a club or a group, great. And if you want to promote health, great. But let's not forget that this is an art form. This is someone's art form that was created. That's not ours, and it's not mine. But I got to learn it. I got to learn it the right way, and I got to learn it assuming that I don't think it's bad, meaning that I need to go in there and change it to be cool, or update it to be something that's contemporary. There's nothing wrong with it. It exists. It's there. And if there is something wrong with it, just simply don't do it, right? But I think that's hard for people in my country. I think that's hard because we don't like people telling us what to do. And that's the problem. That's why swing dancing kind of died. And that's unfortunate. So let me know what you guys think about this clip. I liked it. I didn't like it in certain parts, but I think it's really cool, and I think it's time for a new video. If you guys want to learn how to swing dance, you can probably be in the next movie when they do it. It's not hard. I spent thousands of hours to figure it out so that people can just kind of, look at the concepts, the tools, and go, oh, I can pick that up, or I can do that, and I can put these together and do that. And you just mean to tell me all I have to do is that for 15 minutes a day, or 30 minutes a day for 6 months, and I've pretty much mastered it? Yes, that's how it is. That's how it works. It's a very simple concept that allows you to have a lot of creative expression around it. And so you've got to understand how it works, and I've demystified all of that so that you can get down to the nuts and bolts of how it really works, so you can accelerate your learning curve of this dance. It doesn't take years to do it, and I want to encourage you to just check it out. It's really fun. I got a fundamentals membership below. You just dive right in. It's like 5 hours worth of information. It won't take you that much. You can learn the main stuff in about 30 minutes, but the other 4 hours is to give you very specific ways of using it so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about, so you can go through that process. So anyways, Let me know what you guys thought. If I don't see your comments in the comment section, hopefully I get a chance to see you in one of my classes online so that you can possibly be in the next swing dancing movie whenever it comes out in the future. Let's hope. Maybe I produce it, maybe I don't. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Take care.